Hello and welcome to Balanced Existence. Today is day 20 of our 31-day series where I am recording a tarot reading each day of the month in December 2025. But of course, whenever you come across this, I trust that there's a timeless message here for you. And pardon my voice, I have a little bit of a sore throat, but I feel good. I'm in good health, so we are going to continue on with the series. So as always, I'm going to start with an oracle card and astrology card to set the overarching themes of the reading, and then we'll dive into the tarot. And this is all about recalibrating you to get you on track with your highest timeline. 2026 is going to be a huge year. I know everybody says that at the end of every year, but such is life when you are a powerfully transformational person. So I know many of us in this collective can feel big energies, feeling like we're on the brink of something like never before seen or never before experienced in our lives. So I really invite you to, with presence and with awareness, set an intention or say whatever prayer you feel called to speak, or ask any question for anything in your life that you may be seeking guidance on. Because even though I have been posting a video every day, and so it feels like a lot of information is coming through, every day is such a powerful opportunity for us to tap into our highest timeline and our highest self and the guidance that we are seeking. And this is what I love about channeling every day, is that it's such a beautiful opportunity to center us and to ground us and to open ourselves constantly, to show up every day and open ourselves to whatever guidance we need on this journey, this spiritual journey, this self-development journey. So, and if you have been following from day one, I would love to hear from you in the comments, what you've been experiencing, what breakthroughs you may have been having. Again, whether you're listening to this in December 2025 or any other month in the future, I would love to hear what you're going through and how anything might have been resonating with you. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to pull our oracle card. So we have the manifestation card. Ooh, we haven't received this card before. That's very powerful, very exciting. I can feel like this rush of exciting and joyful energy. So it says, your dreams have untold energy. Open the door and let them live. Desire and belief are your power. Wow. Okay, and then the astrology card we have is the moon. And we have got this card before. I love this card paired with the manifestation oracle, because this is all about, the moon is all about your inner world, your feelings, your intuition. So this is about manifesting from a emotional feelings level, which is very powerful and really the root, the core of what we do when we manifest successfully. It's manifesting because it's manifesting in emotional alignment as a result of you having achieved that alignment in your inner world, which the moon represents. So this is more about that kind of feelings-based, heart-led manifestation rather than, like solely the physical actions you take or trying to force something to work out or, control the timing or the specifics of your manifestations. So this is about this effortless way that you're able to manifest in emotional alignment, in a way that's in line with your feelings, your beliefs, your intuition, your subconscious patterns. So when you address those and you get those in alignment and you're really embodying and showing up as your authentic self, when we get those things in alignment, then we're on a frequency that is the highest that we can possibly achieve in the given moment. And that feels good. And that is what allows us to manifest the things that are in alignment with us. Because, truthfully, we're always manifesting things that are in alignment with where we are, right? But of course, we prefer those things to be of our highest possible frequency. But to do that, we have to achieve that in our inner world. We have to achieve that within. And I talk a lot on this channel about inside out. And so this is exactly what the cards are pointing us to. On an energetic level, we begin with our inner world and then we work outwards. So because we're always manifesting that which is aligned to our energetic frequency, we can see the importance of the moon and paying attention to our inner world, our feelings, thoughts, beliefs, especially those that are subconscious or hidden. And so when we investigate those and we go deep and we bring what needs to be brought to the surface and we detox and release that which needs to be released, we're able to get to the core of who we authentically are. And in turn, we raise our frequency and we raise the level and the power through which we're able to manifest. And the moon is, and I love that we just got the sun yesterday. I mean, there's just such, I think that happened before. I can't remember which days, but I feel like we got the sun and the moon like one day after one another. And we just did that again right now. There's such a powerful, beautiful duality that comes through these cards and these readings. Like I would say it surprises me, but it doesn't, because the messages are just so on point and just so connected to each other. It gives me like chills, just like feeling the abundance and the alignment of these messages that come through. So yeah, I mean, with the sun coming through just yesterday and the moon coming forward today, what we have here is this beautiful duality of, one, we're appreciating the moon and the inner world and the ebbs and flows and the cycles of life. And by doing so, we also appreciate the duality of the moon and the sun. And when the sun comes through and helps us to, take action and illuminate things and, stand strong in our identity. Whereas the moon allows us to take a more inward approach that's more receptive. And that's what allows us to receive in those manifestations that come to us from taking those aligned actions that the kind of more masculine embodiment of the sun represents. And of course, masculine, feminine is not necessarily linked to gender, but the moon is this kind of feminine receptive energy. And then the sun is kind of the more masculine action taking drive and purpose energy. And so when they're in union, and again, we talk a lot about this on the channel as well, this union of your inner divine masculine and inner divine feminine, when we achieve that union, which is a lifelong journey, it's what gives us that ability to trust. And, it's like the inner divine masculine provides the container for the inner divine feminine, and the inner divine feminine continues to support and nurture the inner divine masculine back. And so to have that trust and surrender puts us in such a beautiful energy of polarity that allows us to call in what we desire. And so I want to speak a little bit about like what this looks like specifically, because sometimes these can be really general or even quantum concepts that can be hard to anchor in and integrate in a way that we can actually show up each day embodying these on a practical and consistent level. And so I want to feed off of yesterday's reading, which I definitely recommend checking out if you are just joining us today. But with the sun yesterday, we also had the humor card. And we talked a lot about kind of loosening our grip in life. And with the moon card coming in today, this is about being able to navigate through life. And in the most simple way, this is really about mindfulness. It's about asking yourself, what am I feeling? What emotions do I have right now? And how am I feeling them in my body? Because that's somatic work. And that knowledge and information is what allows you to know yourself better, and it's what gives you a glimpse into your subconscious world, because most of the world is kind of on autopilot, where they're going through the motions of life, but they're not having those moments to stop and pause and have that awareness of what they're feeling in their body, because sometimes it can be very subtle and it can be easy to ignore or suppress. So, for example, if you're going about your day and there's something that's just causing you some level of stress, whether you're aware of it consciously or not, or maybe you actually have a physical sensation, this is about creating the space for that. And it's a consistent practice. It's something that we have to show up for all of the time, because when we begin to ignore those nudges and whispers that our body is trying to communicate to us, it begins to pile up. And this is really how we lose ourselves and how we disconnect from ourselves. And especially for those, I'm feeling called to just kind of speak on the twin flame journey. If you don't resonate with that term or being on that journey, I still trust that there's a message here for you. But especially those on the twin flame journey who feel like they look back and they've completely lost themselves through this relationship. And I mean, this happens to people who aren't on the twin flame journey, but it's so important on this path to reconnect back with yourself on a daily basis. And this is really, I mean, the easiest metaphor is that of the mother and the child, right? Like, or you and your inner child. When you neglect or ignore or suppress the needs of your inner child, or the needs of your body or your emotional needs, not only do you physically put yourself in a state of dysregulation and disconnection with your soul and with your sense of self, but you also lose that trust with yourself. So your inner child doesn't feel comfortable like asking for the nurturing you need. And then that kind of just continues this spiral where you continue to ignore your sensations or your feelings, your gut feelings, your intuition, and all of that. So it's really important that we commit fully to every day showing up as mindfully as we possibly can, because of course it's easier said than done when we have busy lives and we're running around trying to do all of these things. But I'm hearing Spirit say, like, slow down, because there's no other way to reconnect back with yourself and get into the habit of every day knowing, oh, my stomach kind of felt weird just then, or, you know, my head's starting to hurt ever since I started thinking about this one topic, you know, or I have like an inkling that something doesn't feel right, and that goes for the positive emotions too. When you feel good, when you feel like you can trust someone, when you feel supported, when you have a interaction with someone that feels really aligned and you really click with someone, whether it's community or friendship or romantic, you know, it's like listening to those bodily hints and sensations that is all part of this practice that we show up every day committed to knowing ourselves. And it's not just about the mind, right? Because the moon card represents your inner world. It also, and your feelings and your emotions, and it also represents your body. So and your emotions and your feelings are linked to your body. Like, they express themselves through the physical body. So that's why, like, this is so much more than just your thoughts, because of course sometimes you think you know yourself, or you think you're giving yourself space to, you know, feel, and when really what we're doing is thinking and retelling stories that aren't serving us and allowing the ego to kind of take the wheel and take control. So that's why I also want to make an important distinction between our mind and our body here, because your feelings are always valid. I mean, it's a part of the human experience. Whatever you're feeling is factual, right? Like, the fact that you are feeling something, right, is a fact. The mind will come in, the ego will come in with its opinions and stories and narratives and trying to make things part of your identity that simply don't serve you. And so that's why it's so important to bring it back to the body. And I've said this in previous readings of the concept that you can feel your emotions within 90 seconds, like feeling them in your body, like the physical sensation. And not every feeling is such an obvious bodily sensation as like, oh, I had a pit in my stomach or my throat tightened. But as we get better and better at tapping into it, which we do by practicing and showing up consistently, daily, committing to practicing, as we get better at that, then we start to kind of be able to hear those very silent whispers, those very quiet nudges from our body. And that's huge. That's what this is all about, because the mind will not get us there alone, right? So I know that was a little bit of a tangent, but I really felt like that message needed to come through, and I'm getting chills just kind of channeling into this, which again, that's like a perfect example right there. Like if you are like me, where you get chills when you kind of are feeling like a spiritual confirmation, or maybe you have a different kind of bodily cue that you get, and it's a message, right? It's information from your body, from your soul, from your feelings, from your intuition. It's, if you can listen to that and allow that to guide you, then you are going to have such strong manifestational power, because you're kind of cleansing through, and it's like a massage, right? Like you're kind of like working out the kinks, you're working out the knots, and in the process, you're allowing yourself to relax and just know that whatever you're feeling is a part of the human experience, and let's lean into it, let's work with it, and let's see what hidden or subconscious information there is to pull from these messages from our body. And then when we do that, we're getting so in touch with our inner world, and we're raising our frequency, because you're re-strengthening and re-nurturing that relationship with your inner child, with your soul, with yourself. And by doing that, you raise your frequency, and now you're starting to see that that's how we really call in those manifestations in such a powerful way. And so, again, feeding off of yesterday's reading, when we talked about loosening our grip, I mean, and with the metaphor I just gave of the massage, this is what we're doing. We're really kind of working the somatics through. And I'm also hearing like dance or moving your hips. Especially women store a lot of their emotions in their hips. So like stretching and moving your hips and dancing, whatever you feel called to do, can be extremely helpful in kind of releasing what needs to be released. And when we do this in a loving way, again, nurturing our inner child, not shaming ourselves for having these areas of tension in our body, or not shaming ourselves for having certain feelings or emotions, but opening ourselves to all parts of ourselves. Bringing you're not able to bring light to the shadow unless you welcome the shadow in and you bring it to the surface, so that it can be, so that it can receive the light. And so this is like full integration of all parts of ourselves, and this is the beautiful work that we do to reach true, authentic self-knowing, like knowing ourselves to the deepest level that we possibly can, and self-love, unconditional self-love. So that's such a beautiful message coming through. I would love to hear from you if anything is resonating, or what you may be experiencing from this message. So let's pull some tarot cards. Okay, we have the Star. Wow, okay, yeah. You are entering such a powerful manifestation timeline right now. And, as we work through negative emotions, we're also being called to, like I said before, recognize times where we feel supported, or we feel confirmations or synchronicities, or things that feel like we're in alignment. Whenever you feel that, I'm also hearing like write it down. Like Spirit is encouraging you to maybe journal. That could be something that could really help you. Like there's like this powerful effect of writing down evidence that you experience, evidence of anything positive, anything that shows you that you're on track to your highest timeline, whatever that may be for you, whatever your goals may be, whatever your wishes and dreams are, right? And it's kind of like gratitude journaling, where it kind of helps rewire our brain and get us in that mindset of receiving. But when we write down evidence, or if you write down like, I saw angel numbers, or, feathers, or whatever symbols from your angels that you may resonate with, when you write that down, you consistently get into the habit of looking for evidence for you being on your highest timeline. And that shift is so powerful. And that's where the star energy is coming in, because it gets us in that mindset of hope and faith and optimism for the future. And that's huge, because without that, we need that momentum of spiraling upward in order for us to have that strong manifestational power. So I'm just so strongly getting that you are really quantum leaping into higher timelines. And for the majority of this collective, I think you know this, but for anyone out there who may be questioning whether this message is for them, or they're feeling like, oh, I feel like I have a long way to go, I have a lot of tension in my body, like the moon is just so much heavy, deep inner work, and Spirit is saying, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, you are doing it, and you are so much further along and so much more capable than your egoic mind will allow you to recognize. So again, embrace and lean into that star card energy, that genuine, authentic hope. It's hope for your future, but it's also trust, the trust that you have in this present moment. And I've said this before in my readings, but the present moment is the portal to your dream life, your highest timeline, right? So don't underestimate the power of the present moment. And this, again, is just powerful shifting of bringing our energy inward instead of relying on external circumstances. But you're showing up in an empowered way. And this is why the journaling is so crucial, where you're able to see, recognize, and record instances of confirmations and synchronicities, not because you're relying on external things to go your way, but because you're taking what's already in front of you and you're using that as evidence for being on your highest timeline, or being on track for your highest timeline, being aligned with your highest self, right? So you can kind of see how this is like a practice that gets you in the habit of seeing what's in front of you and finding confirmation in that. That is you alchemizing from the inside out, right? Like taking what's already right in front of you, alchemizing it within into this like beautiful, grateful, hopeful, optimistic energy that then continues to spiral you upward so that you can keep on track with your highest timeline. So, wow, these are just beautiful messages coming through. I should have known immediately when I pulled the manifestation card that we were going to get a lot of information and downloads coming through, because it's such a powerful topic that we talk a lot about on this channel. So, and I also love that today is day 20. So it's kind of like a new set of numbers, like a new chapter of the days of this series. So let's see what else this is also coming through to me here. So I love also how intertwined these readings are. Like every reading really is like a perfect puzzle piece in the overarching guidance that we need as a collective. And so, like I said before, definitely check out yesterday's reading if you haven't already. But we got the Fool in yesterday's reading, and I just find that to be so aligned with the star card, because it's about having this hope as we enter new timelines, as we enter into these fresh starts with such courage, right? Like having that star card energy. And I think I said this before, but we definitely have gotten the star card previously in this series. So this is an energy that is very much with us in the collective, but entering this new realm, this walking through that portal of the now moment into these higher timelines with, of course, the courageous fearlessness of the Fool, but also with the beautiful, like surrendered trust and faith, and like the knowingness that everything will be okay. Like that beautiful optimism is so crucial. And so again, the star card is just coming through so brightly for us and really allowing us to harness this magical and powerful manifestational power. So it's just like such energizing and exciting energy. I'm getting chills feeling into this. So I hope that you are also able to tap into, whatever's resonating with you here and feeling inspired, to move forward on your journey. This is about divine alignment, like entering this place of balance after all of the healing work you've done. And it can be so dense and heavy on the earth plane. And so for us to have these moments where we can tap into that beautiful spiritual joy and that knowingness that we are an extension of divine source energy. This is so beautiful in and of itself, and also the key to manifestation. And I'm also hearing that your manifestational power is going to match your level of trust. So if you're not trusting in your power, you simply won't have the power. But if you're trusting in your power, you will have that power. So really, it's not about having the power itself. It's about your trust and your belief that you have it, that you have the power, you have the ability to get yourself on your highest timeline. It's kind of like the phrase where people say like success is like 99% confidence. It's kind of like that. And of course it takes work and like inner work and practice to achieve confidence, just like it does to achieve trust and faith. And regardless of where you are on your journey, when we mature into that wisdom, it becomes so apparent and so obvious how much power we have and how much light we have to create within, as well as to express outwardly to the world and our communities and our loved ones. And I can just feel so strongly that this collective, it's starting to click into place for us. And again, whether you feel like, yes, I'm there, or even if you're starting, like, I don't know, I'm feeling like there's a part of the collective that is, it's not, like they feel like maybe this message isn't for them, or they feel like they're not there yet. And Spirit is saying, if you're listening to this, you are there. It's just like, it's about to click in for you. And if you can just have faith and trust in that truth, it will click into place for you. And that's when our manifestations really start sliding in, like so effortlessly. And so when we continue to show up and open ourselves to it, we continue to open up I'm seeing like a funnel that has to be kind of like stretched or cut open so that all the abundance coming in doesn't like bottleneck at the bottom, but can just come pouring out, right? Like it does take some inner work and it takes some preparation for us to invite in, because sometimes we think we're open, but there's even more that we can open towards. So that message is coming through very strong. And Spirit also wants you to know that like what you're dreaming, if you can dream it, it's meant for you. And of course I have to disclaim that sometimes we think we want something and it turns out it wasn't meant for us, or maybe it wasn't an egoic dream instead of a heart-led dream. And sometimes we want things, we truly do want things with our heart, and then it just changes later. And so it can kind of feel like there's not a sense of control, but of course, that's the truth of this experience. And the more we can kind of lean into that and surrender to it, again, the more we remain open and we remain in that energy of faith and trust. And this is why very often we're able to look back at things and recognize with hindsight, oh, that's why that thing didn't work out, or I'm so glad that worked out the way that it did, because if not, I wouldn't be here today, right? And maybe there are some things in our life that we don't understand why. Maybe we don't understand until much later in life, or maybe even in this lifetime, there are certain things we just don't understand. But it's really not about that, right? It's not about us knowing why everything happened. It's about us continuing to show up in that surrendered. And of course, it's not surrender in this kind of victim or powerless way. It's surrender in this knowing that you are fully backed and supported by the universe. And so even if you don't know why something happened the way that it did, you can still know that you're on the right path, whatever happens. And that peaceful energy, again, contributes to this upward spiral. So a lot is coming through with this star card, but I just wanted to channel into all of these messages. So of course, let me know what's resonating. And as a collective, I feel so strongly that we are on this journey of tapping into our bodies and our emotions and allowing that to connect us with our hearts instead of allowing our mind to take control, right? And another thing I'm getting is, when you don't have that full hindsight and understanding of any particular aspect of your past experiences, you are stepping into this embodied confidence and knowingness that allows you to not see past experiences as a mistake or a failure, but to, even if you don't cognitively or consciously understand the reason or all of these kind of mental assessments of what your past experiences were, you're still able to embody this surrender of, it doesn't matter. I don't need to know why things happened. That would just be me trying to soothe my ego and try to tell this story or narrate this story in a way that, soothes my egoic tendencies. But instead, you're able to look back and just have this peaceful energy of surrender. And now that it's not the purpose is not to have that mental knowing. It's about being able to anchor in that wisdom and that mental clarity of either knowing, oh, that didn't work out because of this, or I don't know why that didn't work out, but I trust that I'm supported. So, inner knowing is a huge theme here, especially with the moon card. And, being able to kind of release the control because you have an inner knowing that even if things aren't going according to your expectations or your kind of mental or egoic desires, that you're being divinely protected, in terms of what you receive, in terms of the divine timing of when you receive it, in terms of the how, really embracing that, the ability to manifest things in an unexpected way. All of this is really starting to click for you. And Spirit just wants to remind you that you are divinely supported and completely blessed on this journey. And with the star card, I mean, it's like all you need to do is tap into the star card, right? Like, it's actually like a divine, I'm hearing like divine intervention, kind of like you think that you need to drive the car, but your angels are doing it for you. And so they're intervening here to tell you, like, you can release, you can, completely release control. You can release this responsibility that is not meant for you, which is the responsibility of working out the how and the when and the where and the, right? Like all of these things that you just simply don't need to handle or control. So let's see what else we can channel here. I know this is one of our longer readings, but I'm just feeling a lot coming through, and I want to definitely channel into it fully. So we're also getting the King of Cups here, which is so in line with this. This is like that divine masculine, which is likely your inner divine masculine, who is in touch with their emotions. It's emotional mastery, emotional safety, which is so in line with what we're talking about of that knowing, that inner peace, that inner knowing. This is an embodiment of a calm leader or authority figure that is compassionate, that is balanced in the heart and the mind, and is not afraid of their emotions and is able to express them in a healthy and safe and secure way. And being the king, I mean, this is a very mature, divine, masculine energy. And so you may have been on a journey, whether recently or in the past, of emotional regulation and emotional maturity. And this is what's really given you such strong foundations when it comes to all of these things we've been talking about before with the moon card of, getting in touch with your body, your feelings, your emotions, your instincts, your intuition, your body, your somatic work, right? Like all of that good stuff. The King of Cups is here to do that confidently and maturely and with all of that wisdom of all of the inner work you've done leading up to this point regarding your emotional world. So this is what's getting you prepared and equipped to manifest in the most powerful way possible, because you're so emotionally grounded now. And you've really learned to hold your emotions, even the deep, heavy, difficult ones. Like we talked about before, holding space for them, holding space for that inner child, the needs of your inner child, the needs of your soul, your body, and being that secure, grounding, protective figure for them. And that is also what gets you in this state of being that basically serves as a magnet to call in other healthy, emotional, available connections, whether it's friendships or romantic or even within your family. Like you are able to attract in alignment, like we said before, with wherever you are at. And so through this inner work that you've done to reach this King of Cups embodiment, you're at a very grounded and well-established place when it comes to your inner world. So I'm really loving the combination of the King of Cups with the moon, because it's really powerfully feeding into your manifestational powers. We also have the Knight of Pentacles here. And I am picking up on an external divine masculine, which I don't usually do. Of course, if you've been following these readings, you know that in all my readings, I focus more on your internal world and not any kind of external outcomes, because I'm really cautious not to give external predictions that will just soothe your ego. I really want all these readings to be about your inner world. So this very well may also be another embodiment of your inner divine masculine. I mean, I was just saying how grounded we are with the King of Cups in our emotions and our inner world. But with the Knight of Pentacles here, yes, so like I said, this could very much be your inner divine masculine. But for some of the collective, this will be the embodiment of an external divine masculine, somebody that is consistent and healthy and grounded. And it may be a slow moving energy, like it may take time, but it's like worth the wait. It's worth the effort, in terms of effort, meaning like the inner work that you've done to lead you to this point. And I feel like this is something that you have been manifesting or desiring for many years, or maybe this is many months for you, but somebody who is consistent and who will really take on that leadership and protective energy. And that's not to say that, we don't continue to work on our inner divine masculine, because that is crucial for us to be in balance in our own selves. But I really do feel like, as part of your journey, you've really wanted to call in a divine masculine externally into your life. And, of course, as within, so without. And like I always say, we work inside out. So when you achieve that inner union and that healthy inner divine masculine, of course, you get yourself on a frequency that will then magnetize one to you. But I'm getting that this is somebody that is very reliable and loyal and dependable. Like I said before, it's slow and steady progress, but it is consistent, and it is providing you with security and stability and this compatible long-term vision. And so as we kind of tap into our body, I invite you, even in this moment, to kind of take this opportunity to practice how your body feels, like as I'm channeling into this external energy. Like, does it feel good? Like, does it feel nervous or like nerve-wracking? Does it feel like unbelievable? Like, and not just in your mind in terms of how your mind processes it, but like really deep in your body, like at the most subconscious level. How do you feel knowing that you're calling in this divine masculine? Like, do you feel like, yes, of course? Or do you feel like, yeah, I think I can do that? Or do you feel like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, my past surely didn't, represent that. Like, kind of tap in and connect here with yourself and how your body responds to the soul's call and the soul's knowing that you will call in somebody of this archetype. Because if there's anything that needs to be surfaced here, like any kind of subconscious limiting beliefs or feelings of unworthiness or feelings like it's not possible or anything that's like limiting and blocking our manifestations, I'm just being called to kind of like call that out right now and give you that opportunity right now in this moment to pull that to the surface and release it. So this could be a really helpful opportunity for you to practice that somatic work in real time. But I mean, I'm getting this beautiful energy of this romantic relationship, I'm getting that you are manifesting such a profound, healthy, like life-changing, never before experienced commitment. And again, timing is irrelevant here. Like, this could be 5 years from now. This could be 5 days from now. The purpose is that you are on the right timeline. And these messages aren't to soothe your ego, but they are to provide you confirmation that you are on the right path. And you know that you aren't soothing your ego. Like, you can be certain that you're not just receiving the good messages and feeling good because of your ego. If you can still feel good not knowing when it's coming. You can still feel good if it came in 5 years. You can still feel good if it came next week. right? Like that's kind of like the test to know, like, okay, am I receiving this fully? And if I am I receiving it in a way to soothe the ego, or am I receiving it with like a full embodied joy from my soul? So let's see what else we can channel here. I also love the duality of the moon being that more feminine, receptive energy that is being balanced by these divine masculine energies of the King of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles. And again, internal or external, regardless, we're always focused on our internal world. And so your inner divine masculine providing that structure for your inner divine feminine. This is such a beautiful reminder to continue to show up repeatedly with that consistency, with that dedication, all of which the Knight of Pentacles especially really represents. Because with that patience and discipline that you embody, and that commitment to growing into the most healthy, high frequency divine, inner divine masculine that you can, that's when your manifestations really start to come together, because you have such a grounded foundation. And that gives you the stability as you go through these ebbs and flows of the moon's cycles and our emotions and whatever may be stored or suppressed or hidden, like within our body on an emotional level. You're building this trust with yourself. You're building this security. And again, this is all contributing to that feeling of knowingness that all is good, all is well, all will be well, regardless of what happens. So like that's that inner union, that's that inner security that you reach. Your inner divine masculine serves as the container, the protection for your inner divine feminine. And then your inner divine feminine is safe and stable enough to get into her flow state, to get into her receiving state. And so we get into this beautiful duality and polarity in such a harmonious, balanced way, where we can receive and express all on this journey to call in our manifestations from the highest frequency that we can. And that's when the manifestations start to come in such a beautiful, effortless, flowing way. So I'm going to pull a little bit more here. I'm just feeling like I should keep going. I know this is like one of our longer readings. I'm definitely picking up. Today's day 20. So after today, we have 11 more days of this series. And I definitely intend to come on very regularly in the new year. Daily whenever possible, but definitely multiple times a week. And I'm just really excited to channel into this energy, especially as the last 11 days of this month come, and of course going into 2026. So, okay, we also have the Tower and the Two of Cups. Wow, huge transformation for you. And it's very interesting that I was picking up on an external divine masculine, because with the Two of Cups here, I'm definitely getting this kind of union or reunion. This could even be friendship. It doesn't have to be romantic. But with the Two of Cups, okay, well, let's first talk about the Tower. This is a huge transformation. I'm also getting caught. We've been talking about such beautiful manifestational energies and the star and having optimism and hope. And I really feel Spirit is calling me to also speak on how difficult these parts of the journey can be at times. And I know we also talked before about, creating space for even the most hidden and suppressed and negative and difficult emotions. And so I do want to tap back into this, because with the Tower card coming forth, I feel like there's a message of a reminder to always allow space for anything that feels like uncomfortable, painful, like the foundations are crumbling. And this is not the first time we've gotten the Tower card in this 31-day series, but, it's like the ashes that the phoenix is able to rise from. Like, while the star card did come out today, and of course we want to, in our highest power, continue to spiral upward and continue to embody that surrendered faith, trust, hope, and optimism. But I also want to, in true spirit of the moon and the moon's ebbs and flows and cycles, and, we know how the moon operates. It's a roller coaster, right? It's an ebb and flow. It's constantly changing. So there are days that we feel like we can very easily tap into that star card energy. And there are days where we feel like we are being crushed by the weight of, our foundations crumbling, right? And so I'm picking up into this extremely transformational portal of energy where you're entering this timeline. I'm actually hearing you've already entered it. You just need to be aware of it. You may have on a spiritual level forgotten, but you know that you've already entered it. That's the truth. But you've entered this timeline where even through the negative challenges, you have this innate knowing that you will always find your way back to the star card energy. And this isn't just fluffy, positive, uplifting, and inspirational message. This is truly at your core, this is who you are now. And I'm getting chills channeling into this because this is extremely powerful. This is you, for the first time in your life, having raised your frequency up to this timeline where even in the darkest moments when you're reaching deep into your subconscious, with the moon card, and you're doing that shadow work and you're investigating your subconscious hidden truths, and you're in the middle of that tower moment that feels so difficult, and sometimes it can feel like you're falling, like you're losing everything you worked for, or you're undoing everything you've accomplished in terms of your inner work and your self-development, your self-transformation, or this feeling like you're just spiraling downward, and I'm just feeling like this with the tower card, there may be moments where you feel like you've lost yourself again, or you've lost your progress. But the truth is that your baseline, your foundation is the star card, always. How can I explain this? It's such a quantum concept. It's as far as you may fall, the star card, you've anchored it in so that it's always there for you. It's that safety net beneath you. So no matter what difficult experience you may go through, whether it's a day, maybe you have a bad day, you have a bad moment, or maybe you have a prolonged period of time where you feel really lost or depressed or disconnected with yourself. And I'm getting chills channeling into this. The star card is permanently on your tool belt now. I'm hearing this analogy of you're not going to lose it. You may forget that it's there, but it's always there. And this is huge because you'll find yourself noticing, I'm hearing, you have a bad moment, and in the moment you may feel oh no, I thought I was better than this. You may kind of start to feel that shame, but then sooner than you may have expected, you find yourself back in that star card energy. It's I'm hearing a boomerang or a rubber band that just kind of snaps back, where it's oh, actually I don't need to stay in that tower energy. I don't need to stay in that downward spiral. And then you find yourself back in that star card energy. So I really wanted to channel into this fully because the tower card, I'm not saying that the tower moments won't come, or you're not going to have moments where you slip up or you are overtaken or controlled by your ego or your more negative emotions. I'm not saying that that will stop happening, because of course that's a normal part of the human experience. But I'm saying that your star card embodiment is always going to be what you bounce back to, what you resort back to. And you'll start to notice, like, in the moments, in the tower moments, you'll start to have that knowingness of like, oh, that's okay. Like, I'll be back at the star card energy before you know it. Like, it's going to become so known on an intuitive and soul level that you just have this is like this beautiful manifestational power that you're stepping into. And it's like that resilience, like whatever happens, you can handle it. You can recover from it. In fact, it's not just that you're going to recover from it, it's that you're going to elevate and grow from it more than you ever would have if you hadn't gone through that difficult or negative tower moment. So this is what's allowing you to really embrace the full journey. And that is you embracing the present moment, embracing whatever you're going through, from negative to positive, from low energy to high energy, right? Like all of the dualities that we experience in this human existence. The star card as your underlying energy is going to become more and more prominent and more of a driver of how you show up, how you navigate whatever you're going through in any given moment. And yeah, like this is what's leading to that Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is, of course, it can be romantic, it could be friendship, it can be those literal things, but it's also this embodiment of alignment. And when you reach inner alignment, you then magnetize and attract alignments with the connections you make. So, but at its core, we're talking about pure alignment with your authentic self. And this is like our full circle moment to when we started the reading, talking about this on such a general level. Like, this is what it means to be your authentic self, to be in alignment with your soul's essence, right? Like, this is it. Like, this is, you're in it, like you're doing it. So I'm going to leave the reading here. I know this was so long, but I appreciate you so much for listening. I would love to hear what resonated with you. And yeah, as we finish up these last days of the reading, I would love to hear from you. And I'm just so excited to continue to channel into these beautiful energies. So again, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you tomorrow for day 21.